Welcome to this Tier 1 and Masters event, everybody. It's called the NASDAQ-100 Open, and we are on Key Biscayne, Miami, Florida, where the weather has been very cooperative, and tonight is no exception. Our feature match is Anastasia Myskina, a long way from home. She's from Russia. Maria Sharapova is from Russia as well, but not that far away from home because she has spent many of her formative years right here in Florida. Mary Jo, she's coming off Sharapova win last week. You'd think she'd be brimming full of confidence, but really she struggled in a couple of matches here so far.
She sure did, and she actually looked a little bit more fatigued, both mentally and physically, than anything else. And in her third round, she played a qualifier from Italy, and she had to work so hard to win in straight sets. In the second set, the qualifier, Camerin, in the air court, had 8 set points. And it was because of determination and just pure guts. Maria Sharapova was able to top them off and hang in there, because really it was a set to be won by the Italian in the near court. She was getting balls back and Sharapova was missing, but when it mattered most, Sharapova raised the level of her game. In the next round, Cliff, she would play her good friend Maria Kirilenko, 19 years of age. They grew up together, and same kind of struggles, but particularly off the forehand. That's been the shot that's been letting Sharapova down. She's not stepping into it. She's tentative, and she's been looking up at her net a lot when she misses forehands like this one. So tonight she knows she's got to step it up to another level. She's got to be more aggressive, because against Myskina, who's very quick around the court, she cannot afford to make so many mistakes.
But of all the things that you said, what matters most to me, or what means the most to me, is when it matters most, she comes through, which is the case. Let's go down to Brad Gilbert, our intrepid reporter, with Maria just moments ago.
Maria, you finally had a day off yesterday. Did you come to the courts?
I did. I hit a little bit, but I mainly just stressed it, took it easy, and hopefully it'll be nice and fresh for today.
And what do you need to do tonight to be successful?
Well, I definitely need to improve from the first 3 rounds. It'll be very important, you know, as far as the tournament goes. You know, it's very important that I step it up with every match that I play, and hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Good luck tonight. Back to you, Cliffy.
Thank you, Brad. Let's see whether she's able to do that. Anastasia Myskina, her opponent tonight, all-round solid player, Mary Jo.
Yeah, she's very quick. She's deceptive. She moves really well. Doesn't have one huge shot, but she's very tenacious on the court. She's got some emotions that she'll show you, and if she's consistent, she can give Sharapova a tough time.
Here is Brad again moments ago with Anastasia.
Anastasia, you have an outstanding 3-1 record against Maria. How have you done it?
Well, it was a long time ago, though. You know, now she's playing much better, so I'll just try to do my best tonight.
Yeah, so 2 years since you played her. Are you looking forward to it?
Well, of course, we didn't play a long time ago. But I hope it's going to be a good match. So.
And it'll be your first time playing with the challenges. You looking forward to playing with the challenges out on the court?
Well, I don't really care. As far as it's a fair play, then it doesn't matter.
Good luck tonight.
So, Mary Jo, you look at their history, it's kind of interesting because they played all those times a couple of years ago, and Myskina looked like she was really in control of that head-to-head. But then when it came to the year-ending championship in LA, we watched that match, and we were sort of saying about that occasion that this may turn things around truly. I know she had won Wimbledon that year, but this really consolidated her position, that Sharapova's position, as a world's top player.
That's right. Sharapova used to have a lot of trouble against the other Russians, and when she was able to beat Myskina at the championship, she really established herself as one of the best, and that Wimbledon was no fluke. But remember, 04 was the same year that Myskina won the French Open.
Ready to go. This is the final 4 spot is at stake.
Love.
"24 years old. Spends a lot of time in Moscow. That's where her home is. That's where she misses when she's traveling. Starting off the year a little bit better than last year, winning more matches. Myskina last year had a lot of difficulties on court and off the court. This year, during this tournament, she has not dropped a set. Chuck Vitadze in the round of 16. Fellow Russian, easily 3-2. And her coach, Jens Gerlach, told me earlier that this is the best he's seen her play all year. And he really felt that she had a legitimate shot to beat Sharapova tonight. But a good start now from Sharapova. A couple break points. Leaning into that last forehand. That's going to be the telling side for Sharapova to see if she's sharper than she's been all week. Sharapova went to a couple heat games this week. Enjoying some nice dinners on Key Biscayne and South Beach.
I thought the last match these two played in the year-ending championship in LA was a watershed match really for Sharapova, and it consolidated her as a major player, as I've already said. I think this, in some measure, is a watershed match, but this one's more for Myskina. If she can beat Sharapova, then she rejoins that elite circle.
And that's Myskina's goal flip to get back to where she was. And she was at #2 in the world after her French Open title in September of '04. It's been her highest ranking. She's dropped now to outside the top 10. She's 12.
There goes long. First game, a break is served for Sharapova.
At one time, we had 5 Russians in the top 10. And now we have 3. Myskina is at 12. Kuznetsova, who's in the semifinals already, is 14. And she'd like to get back also to the top of women's tennis. Petrova's had some consistent results. That's why you see her at 7. And Dementieva as well.
Mary Jo, as you take a look at this draw, you said that Sharapova, at least Myskina, had some challenges on and off the court. Can you chronicle those for us?
Well, last year her mom was very, very ill, and for a while she didn't tell anybody about it, and you could just see her on the court breaking down. I mean, she got emotional so many times when she wasn't playing well, and finally she told the press that her mom was very, very sick, and that was distracting her. She really couldn't focus on the court. Her mom, thankfully, is much better now. Her father has been traveling with her the last couple of weeks. He hadn't traveled with Myskina in about a year or two.
Father Andrei drove her every day to Moscow's Spartak club when she was just a kid. She said that she never felt pressure, that tennis was fun for her. She liked to play soccer as a child. The parents played socially at the club.
Jens Gerlach in the front, the coach of Myskina.
And is that Anna Kournikova next to him?
That is, behind him.
Screen.
And then her dad, Andrei, to the right. But Kournikova has been supporting Myskina, was at her last match, went to the players' party with her. Remember when she got to the final here, Kournikova?
I remember it well. I remember when
4 top 10 players and then lost to Venus Williams.
Wasn't it that year she got to the semi-final at Wimbledon?
That's right, she was only 16.
30-15. What do you think Anna Kournikova thinks of the fame and for? I know Kournikova made a lot of money off the court,
And I'm sure she's still making it.
but not the kind of Sharapova money. I wonder what she thinks about that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be frustrating. I mean, Sharapova's only 18. She won Wimbledon when she was 17, and it was just an overnight sensation. Started getting endorsements left and right, Sharapova. Well played there by Myskina. Great point.
But don't you think that this young lady, and she's still young, Anna Kournikova, had a lot to do with the resurgence of Russian women's tennis?
Absolutely. I mean, and I think you'll hear it from Sharapova and Myskina and the rest of them that she opened a lot of doors and really brought a lot of attention to women's tennis. But there have been many comparisons. Sharapova was the first one to say, "Don't compare me," because I'm here to do my job and to be the best. And obviously she wins a lot more than Kournikova did, and Kournikova never won a tournament, but she was in the top 10 and she had the potential.
Saves a break point. Yeah, there was talk about when Dementieva got to the semi-final of the U.S. Open that is this the next Anna Kournikova, remember?
That's right, in 2000. Beat Li Na in the second round, 2-4. Was down 4-1 in that second set, and then saved 8-set points against the Italian, and then really struggled against Kirilenko. The third set she put together, though. And it was a little bit like this game. It was streaky for Sharapova. She would play a good point and then just miss a ball out of nowhere. And I have to believe a little bit of it is mental fatigue. She's played a lot of tennis this year. Of course, coming off the big win at the Pacific Life about over a week ago. Good.
We're fond of saying that Roger Federer is always playing on Saturday and Sunday, but the truth is, I know it's been a while that she's won a tournament, not including one last weekend in Indian Wells at the Pacific Life, but she's always in the last few days.
Yeah, usually on Saturday she's there. Yuri, her dad and coach, and Michael Joyce looking on.
Another chunk from Myskina to break. Sharapova, semi-finalist at the Australian. Close match with Justine Enarden. She went down. Lost to Martina Hingis at the Pan Pacific in Tokyo, but that was a semi-final. Beat Hingis in Dubai. Lost to Enarden in that championship match, and then won in Indian Wells. Serve, and it's even in the first set. Brad Gilbert at courtside. Brad, you got us?
Yeah, I saw Maria about 20 minutes before the match, and she looked really intense. You know, the whole Russian battle thing. I think she definitely wants to get the better of Myskina. Myskina seems so relaxed, but for her to have any success tonight, it's all about the bicycle. She's going to have to be moving and getting everything back. I also think she needs a lot of variety of shots, some angles, some loops, you know, not giving Maria that ball at her waist level. And also in those slower conditions tonight, Maria going to be able to hit through the court more.
Brad, say that again. In the slower conditions, Maria's going to be able to hit through the court more. I thought the slower conditions makes it less easy to hit through the ball.
Well, I mean, she's such a big hitter, so I think maybe she was spraying more balls in the day with the court playing faster. I think in a slower condition will help her ground strokes.
That's a great point by Sharapova. And I understand what Brad's saying. Sharapova, the bigger hitter, she can hit through the court better when it's slower. But I also think that helps Myskina run more balls down when the conditions are slower. She's able to track at least 1 or 2 extra balls.
Mary Jo, I'm really surprised Anastasia is throwing her first serve in at 72 miles an hour. I mean, she got a bigger serve than that.
Not much bigger. That's her biggest weakness, is her serve, for sure.
3 serve games, 3 breaks. A serve, it's 2 games to 1 to Sharapova. She'll serve and we come back. We're live here at the NASDAQ in Miami.
There's no such ESPN2's presentation of the NASDAQ-100 Open, brought to you by the NASDAQ-100 Index Tracking Stock, ticker symbol QQQQ. Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at MBUSA.com. And Sony Ericsson, proud worldwide title sponsor of the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour.
NASDAQ 100 Open continuing. It's Sharapova trailing or leading 2-1.
Love 15.
When Anastasia Myskina was a kid, she spent her early years, 12 years at the Spartak Club, which has indoor and outdoor clay courts. She spent hours there every day after school. In fact, she played at the same time with Anna Kournikova, who's watching her tonight, and Elena Dementieva. They are, remember, they played the final of the French, and they are and were then really good friends. A memory that she says she would like to forget is the Athens Olympic semi-final when she led Justine Henin-Ardenne, who had come off of a long layoff, to eventually win that. But she led 5-1 in the final set. and lost. And as we've been saying, for the Russians and the Chinese, there's nothing more valuable, including a Grand Slam, than an Olympic medal.
Net first serve.
She was so distraught after losing that semifinal to Anne Arden. She had to go play for the bronze medal against Alicia Malik and just mentally was not there.
Game, Sharapova.
Sharapova holds, so she's got 3 games to 1.
Sharapova leads.
Bring your, as Brad Gilbert would say, hard hat and lunch pail tomorrow, folks, because we've got a solid day of tennis coming your way. 1 o'clock Eastern Time, Emily Mresmo, Svetlana Kuznetsova. At 3 o'clock, Andy Roddick in action against David Ferrer of Spain. At 7 Eastern, Federer and Blake, and then Tatiana Golovin versus the winner of this match.
A pretty good lineup.
Love 15.
One difference I'm noticing just early on with Myskina's game is the unforced errors. When Myskina won the French Open in 04 and when she got to 2 in the world, she was beating people because she was so consistent. She ran a lot of balls down and didn't miss.
15 all.
At the French, she beat Venus Williams and Capriati and basically just stood back there, got balls deep, anticipated well, and let them self-destruct. So far in this match, Myskina already has 12 unforced errors. Only 1 winner.
Very speedy around the court, this Myskina, isn't she, MJ?
She really is, and that's what she's got to work around. That's her strength, is her movement, her anticipation skills. She read this forehand up the line, and then her backhand is her better ground stroke. She really was firm on that passing shot, so I think that's the goal for her tonight.
Game, Myskina.
Running around that forehand to hit the backhand to emphasize your point. 3-2. Sharapova's got the break in the first set. She'll serve.
Love 15.
That's the right strategy from Myskina. Change the pace up, steady, and if Sharapova can come up with the winner consistently from start to finish, too good.
Net for serve.
Too big a swing on the volley. Something Maria's been working on in practice, trying to work her way to net a little bit more.
It's dangerous, though, isn't it?
Well,
Against somebody like Myskina, you've got to make sure that you've got a good approach.
Still not so comfortable at the net, Sharapova. But you don't get better unless you try it, unless you do it in matches.
15:30. Has she signed up for the doubles at all? Maria Sharapova.
I don't think so.
15:30.
Wouldn't this be a thing to do to maybe help her with the volleys?
I always thought doubles helped singles tremendously because you get to practice what you've been working on still in a competitive way. But a lot of top players opt not to play to save themselves physically for the singles.
Sense is that the women will probably, Sony Ericsson WTA Tour will do the same thing the men have, which is shorten the doubles matches with no ad scoring and play a super tiebreaker for the third set, which will, I really think, in the long run, encourage more of the singles players to play doubles, knowing that they will have a finite period of time for the match to last.
$40-30.
40-30 in this game point. Brad Gilbert's back. Where have you been, Brad? You go walkabout?
I went on a walkabout. I actually found Anna Kournikova and asked her if we could talk to her. She said if she was playing, she wouldn't want someone doing an interview on the stand, so she's here supporting her friend, and she goes, I don't want to do it. But I'm actually standing here next to Mario Antic, who's kind of checking this out. He's playing afterwards.
Game. Sharapova. Sharapova leads
That was a
4 games
comeback
to 2.
from love 30 down to winning the game for 2 Sharapova. Love. Mary Jo, my last word on Anna Kournikova, because I don't want this to be all about her, but
15 love.
she played team tennis last year, some, right?
Yeah.
She can do that again? And she
I would think so.
She plays some exhibition matches.
Yeah.
But
Some charity events. I'm surprised she didn't talk to Brad.
no WTA Tour matches anymore.
You don't like that
No,
shot,
I
do you?
don't. I think I like the shot and I like the strategy, but she hasn't perfected it yet. And
Also,
that-
again, if she doesn't start trying it in a match, then it's going to be tough because in practice, everything's so much easier. There's no pressure. You can, make your shots whenever you want. But these are the types of matches where you need to work on the stuff that you've been trying in practice. And she has not been making those drop shots this event. But maybe by the time she gets on the red clay,
30-15.
they'll be a little bit better.
Well, also, too, I think when she hits those drop shots, she's trying to hit them with 2 hands sometimes. That's an easier shot to hit, with 1 hand. It's a tough 2-hand chip drop shot.
That last one sort of was with 1. She let go at the end. It's just not a natural shot for Sharapova, just like the one-handed slice is not a natural shot. But she's been working on that, too.
See, that's a much better point for Myskina, though. Was she taking a few risks? I think if she's just content to keep the ball in play, it's going to be a long night for her, and/or she's going to get tired.
See, I don't know if I agree with that, Brad, because she doesn't have that big shot that she can hurt Sharapova consistently with, so I don't think she can afford to have a lot of unforced errors.
Game. Myskina.
Myskina
New ball,
holds
please.
serve, 4 games to 3.
4 games.
Some interesting dynamics in this, aren't there? We're live at the NASDAQ.
NBA doubleheader action.
15 love.
15 left to Sharapova, serving here, leading 4 games to 3, 1 break. In the first set, they have traded breaks and then some. 2 breaks for Sharapova, 1 for Myskina so far. So while you and Brad are getting into it, can I join this little fight and say, how
What
can
do you think, Cliff?
How can you say that these are the kind of matches, as you said a game ago, that Sharapova can try like drop shots and shots that are not high percentage shots, like these are unimportant matches to her?
Well, no, but it's a quarterfinal. It's not the final. The player who gives her time. So I think it's the best opportunity to work on your game, to come in, get to net, also on some of the things you've been doing in practice. This time Myskina connects well with his forehand up the line. A little less pressure in a quarter or semi than later on in the final.
Plays with so much emotion, Anastasia, and berates her her coach sometimes. We haven't seen it tonight yet, but she gets, apparently the last couple of years, always the award among women for doing more for tennis off the court than anyone. Always ready to go swimming with the Dolphins or make an appearance for the corporate group.
Definitely gives back to the game. Her coach Jens Gorlach from Germany has been with Myskina forever. They used to date, not anymore.
That's got to be confusing.
Well, she's dating Alexander Stepanov now, who's an ice hockey star from Russia. That was dangerous. Not sure what that was supposed to be from Myskina coming under the ball, but that was way too deep. If it was an attempted drop shot, easy put away. 5-3 Sharapova.
Mary Jo, Anastasia also seems so much more dangerous on the run when she, she hit a couple winners down the line on the forehand there, but in the middle of the court, she seems to play so much more conservative.
And if you notice, Sharapova actually, against her, hits quite a bit up the middle, especially in the beginning of a rally. This is that one. The last time Sharapova played Myskina, the only time she beat Myskina, that was her strategy, to hit hard up the middle and wait to be able to go out wide because Myskina is so dangerous when she's on the run. Wasn't it that angle that Myskina produced?
That's a great shot. You know, she hit a good little dink. Maybe she could have covered down the line, but that's an outstanding get and a great up the line from Sharapova.
She was a foot outside the doubles alley, Brad, when she made contact with that backhand.
15-30.
Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
I was saying it was funny after that shot. It was a great shot. She looked up and gave her coach the first evil eye. I was like, what did he do wrong?
You know, you two are talking about how good Anastasia Myskina is running wide. I think that Sharapova is pretty good with that shot, evidenced by that backhand down the line.
Couple set points now for Sharapova, but in the moving category, Myskina definitely faster and quicker.
No doubt.
No doubt. But because Sharapova knows she's not the fastest, she goes for a lot when she gets stretched out wide. For her, it's not a low percentage shot to go for the outright winner when she's out wide.
First set to Sharapova.
Sharapova, 6 games to 3.
Very, very good display from Maria, former Wimbledon champion, as she wins it 6-3. When we come down to Miami, the first thing Brad says is, when are we going to Joe's? When are we going to Joe's?
How many times have you been there already, Brad?
Believe it or not, I've only been once, and I got the squeeze, only the small claws.
And then you got to go back.
Talking about Joe Stonecraft review on Miami Beach, and in the city of fashion and food, that is probably the most famous destination for food in this fair city. Sharapova serving, love 15, first game, second set, first set to the former 04 Wimbledon champ.
More balanced numbers from Sharapova. Too many mistakes from Myskina.
Also, Mary Jo, the forehand looks a lot better tonight than it has the last couple of matches.
It sure does. She's definitely stepping into the court more. She's following through in front of her, not, you know, whipping it around her head as much.
More like Roger Federer, you mean, following through. Yep, solid play. You two have been talking about the forehand side of Sharapova being more vulnerable in the backhand, and I agree with that. But having said that, I think that the balance of strength between the backhand and the forehand for Maria is really good. In other words, it may be a little weaker, but I don't think you can characterize her forehand as a weak part of her game. Weaker, but not weak. 15-30.
I'd say it's more inconsistent. I wouldn't say it's weaker. It's probably the shot that makes more points for her. She produces more winners from the forehand.
Then you have players whose balance between forehand and backhand is so good. For example, Federer,
And I always thought, Brad, you may want to comment that Andre Agassi, for example, balance between forehand and backhand was so good, such good balance.
When you got balance, you know, your opponent doesn't know where he can get any reprieve.
Reminds me of Celis. You never knew which two-handed shot was better or worse. Well, that's good.
Break point.
Once again, Myskina on the run. Very dangerous on the run.
Myskina's broken once, but she's had 4 chances, you know, and it's an important statistic, that, because Sharapova's had 5. The difference is that she's broken 3 times.
Got her whole body weight going into this forehand winner. Leaning forward.
Trying to hit that with the left hand, and every time she does that, I have to point out to you that there was a time when the dad suggested that she play left-handed, and she did for a while, believe it or not, play left-handed. It didn't last long, though. They tried it for a month. First game, second set, and Myskina has a second break chance. What was it you were saying in the opening, when it really matters?
She comes through, Sharapova. She plays her best. She doesn't hold back. That's why she's played so well the last couple of years. And that's why she's been so consistent. Because when things get to a pressure moment, she keeps hitting out. She keeps going for her shots. She gets tight as well, but find a way to stick to what works best the majority of the time.
Myskina, born in Moscow, and that's still home for her. Sharapova, born in Russia, Siberia, actually moved to Sochi, which is much friendlier climate, and then to the US when she was very young, and is headquartered out of the USA since then.
Advantage, Myskina.
Third double for Sharapova gives Myskina another chance to break serve.
The third of this game.
Deuce.
He remains incredibly positive during all of Myskina's matches.
No, Josh, Maria's done that a number of times with the forehand on the first ball off a short return, attack down the line.
And I think that's one of the advantages she has over Myskina is she gets a shorter reply because her serve is stronger. She'll see more short balls.
She also has more power to deal with the short ball than does Anastasia Myskina. 1 to Sharapova, second set.
And our Sony Ericsson shot of the day comes from the end of the first set. Sharapova trying to break to win it. Had to do some extra running, but comes up with a spectacular backhand from outside the doubles alley. Look at this. Great control with her left hand. That's the one that does all the work. Gets through the ball and just fires it up the line for your Sony Ericsson shot of the day.
Oh, that's an interesting comment from her. She just said up to her coach, my serve is so blanking bad. And he just kind of sunk.
That's punished again off another weak serve. Takes its toll after a while when you have to fight so hard to hold on and try to stay neutral when you're serving.
3 times so far in the match. Myskina. 6-3 first set to Sharapova. It's too tough, and Myskina's got a break point against her serve. Jens is German. They speak.
Yes.
What language do they speak between them?
I think English.
Game, Sharapova.
Break a serve.
Sharapova leads 2 games to love.
There's such a big difference between their court positioning where they make contact on the return of serve clip. Look at Sharapova when Myskina's serving, where she's making contact with the first serve is the yellow ones, second serve is the black ones. Rarely is she behind the baseline. But then you go on the other side and then you look at Myskina. Rarely is she anywhere near the baseline. Only 2 second serves that she attacked. She's really waiting for the ball to drop. And she's so far back that that allows Sharapova to right away take control.
15 love.
When you're that far back, you have to make sure the return is high and deep over the net. You gotta get the depth.
Wait, please.
Mary Jo, I can't help but think that all this negative energy that Anastasia shoots up at her coach just doesn't help things.
You know, Brad, I mean, it's consistent, though. I mean, this is the way Myskina's on the court, and she'll tell you, you know, I just get frustrated and I let it out on my coach. She actually wins a lot of matches doing this. I remember, I think we asked her once in Australia, and she said, well, I just want him to say something, you know, help me out some way. He didn't say anything. I'm working so hard and trying so hard out there. I need a little bit of encouragement. But Gerlach in the front row, he is steady, and I think he encourages just by nodding his head, but he won't say anything to her during matches.
You're watching live coverage of the NASDAQ-100 Open, everybody. Cliff Drysdale here, Mary Jo Fernandez alongside, and Brad Gilbert at courtside. We're in Miami, Key Biscayne, for this great championship. It is a second Masters event, top tier 1, third in the women's. You are watching Sharapova and Myskina, second set, first set to Sharapova, 6-3, 2 games. They love Sharapova in the second, but she's break point down. Already in the semifinals, Emily Mauresmo, the world's top player now, and distancing herself somewhat from the field, will take on Kuznetsova, who took out, among others, Martina Hingis. Got Tatiana Golovin earlier today with the win, so she's waiting for the winner of this match in the semis. Still break point. Break a serve to Anastasia Myskina. It's 2-1. We're on serve again here in the second set. This is the tennis center at Crandon Park, everyone. It is a county facility. It's a public facility. So for a couple of $3, you can come down here and enjoy playing tennis on these pro courts. 2-1 Sharapova. First set 6-3 Sharapova. But we're on serve. This is Myskina, and it's love 15 in this game.
Love 30.
Mary Jo, you were talking about the power on the serve of Myskina. Now, there are certain players, like Chris Evert, for example, and I think Martina Hingis as well, who could maybe juice it up a little more, but not much more. There was a limit to how hard they could get the serve. My sense is that Myskina is not in that category, and that if she really worked on it, that she could juice the serve up. You think?
The last serve was an example. Cliff at 103. I mean, she's been hitting him in the 70s. And then all of a sudden she hits one at 103. So why can't she do that more often?
I was just thinking the same thing. She gets 103 on the last point, wins it, and goes back to 73. I'm thinking she's having no success with 73. Put a little juice on the serve.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Remember, in 04, Myskina was as high as number 2, but she is content just to spin it in.
Spectacular from Sharapova. She breaks again. 3-1.
Leads 3-1.
One of the best tennis we've seen from Sharapova in this tournament.
How about this for a theory? Coach Gerlach says to Myskina, Sharapova likes pace. Don't give her any.
It's a theory.
You're not buying it?
No, I'm not buying it. No, because to Brad's point, she's getting a lot of first serves in. She's at 71 for the match, Myskina. But she's only winning 45% of those first serves in. So if you have the ability, which she does, of serving a little bit harder, why not?
Love.
By the way, Hingis can juice it up sometimes as well. I don't know if they're just not strong enough where they don't have the confidence they can do it every time, so they save it for every once in a while. But it definitely hurts them when they play the better players and the stronger players.
30
I'm not sure exactly why it is, but it has something to do with flexibility, because, you know, a guy like Pete Sampras was, I mean, he just hit that ball so hard. A guy like Andy Roddick as well. It has something to do with flexibility of the muscles. Sharapova's got a good serve.
But don't you think if you could do it once, that you should be able to do it more often?
Yes.
I mean, I couldn't do it once, and I tried. That's going to be a shot that Myskina is going to have to improve if she wants to get back to the top of women's tennis, the serve, for sure.
Sharapova
in front now and looking very solid at 4-1, that representing one break. Myskina will certainly come back. Sharapova won the first set 6-3. She's looking for a spot here in the semi-final, and remember, she's coming off a win last week.
And from our perspective,
15 love.
15 love in this game for Anastasia Myskina from Russia, trailing 1-4 and a set. She has not yet held serve in the set.
Sharapova's had the right intentions from the very beginning of this match. She's looking for the short ball. She's looking to take some balls out of the air.
Oh. 14-15.
Myskina holds, trailing 4 games to 2 now. Sharapova about to serve. Hope you will join us for a big day tomorrow. Emily Mauresmo at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, taking on Svetlana Kuznetsova. Andy Roddick then at 3 o'clock will take on David Ferrer of Spain. Tomorrow night, our coverage continues. James Blake taking on Roger Federer. And that's not all, because following that Federer match tomorrow night, the winner of this match takes on Tatiana Golovin, who earlier today had a win in 3 sets over Zheng Ji of China.
This is going to be a good one between Federer and Blake. They played in the final of the Pacific Life last week. Blake came out firing. He was up a couple breaks in that first set against Federer.
4-1, 2 breaks. And then downhill, unfortunately for Federer, unfortunately for Blake, Federer really turned it on.
He really did. Took it to 2 higher levels.
30 love.
Myskina able to take control of this last rally. Got Sharapova stretching out wide.
Opportunity for Myskina winning the last 2 points, and here she, as you said, took control of the last point. In a way, mentally, she's backs against the wall now, down a set and down a break in the second at 4-2. In some ways, the pressure is off her now.
Joe, the fact that these two are both from Russia, I mean, that is an issue, isn't it?
It sure is. I mean, when any two Russians play against each other, it becomes more than just your average match. It becomes such a mental match. And you said it earlier, Clippy, I mean, they care more about Olympic gold and being #1 in Russia than they do about winning majors.
Good transition there to the net. It's 30-11 in this game. Now break point.
Game, Myskina.
Well,
New balls, please.
Myskina throwing caution to the winds there. Again with her back to the wall, nothing to lose, and she came through as she breaks back. Now we're on serve.
Love 15.
situation is now 3-4 in the second set. We're on serve. Myskina obviously having trouble holding serve, and those troubles continue, but she did just break. characterize Myskina as a good, tight match player there, Joe, because you said earlier that, you know, like in winning the French Championships, for example, that she would hold on pretty well to a match.
Yeah, I think she is. I mean, she's lost a couple heartbreakers, and when you mentioned the Olympics against Anna Arden, but you know, you see her get emotional and talking to her coach, but she fights. She fights really, really well.
That's called wide, and we're looking at the challenge.
Sharapova challenges the out call on far sideline. Stands. Sharapova has one challenge remaining.
Cliffy, she's still yet to win one.
30-15.
But that was so close, bro. Anyway, confirming the linesperson's call, it was out. 30-15.
Definitely worth a challenge. Now she can put it behind her.
That was a very nervous forehand.
And you know what? She just put that point right behind her and gets right back to work.
Yeah, instead of having to worry about whether it was in or out.
Higher percentage of challenges for the men for some reason.
You're shocked by that, Cliffy?
I am. Brad.
Break point for Sharapova. Quick reminder that Sharapova, has got one challenge left this set. Unless it goes to a tiebreak, then she gets an additional one. And if you challenge and you're correct, then it rolls over and you keep the two plus the one for the tiebreak. Break point. I am mystified by, as you made the point, that if she can serve 103 mile an hour first serve, Myskina, why doesn't she try it at least more often? That last one was, what am I looking at, 66 or 68 there?
Yeah, 66.
Put the foot on the gas pedal. Go for the serve right now. There's no time.
Deuce.
Sharapova.
Yeah, I'm not sure why she doesn't do it more often, but she's not winning enough of those first serves in. She's only 50% for the match.
Deuce.
Maria's going over to the sideline. Looks like either she broke a string or she just wants to.
She didn't break a string. I think she's probably she's thrown a couple of balls here. Maybe she's going to get a tighter racket. But she's not like a few of the guys. She doesn't change rackets on the ball changes. So this would be her first racket change. So probably in it.
Explain that, Brad. A tighter racket, you use it to control the ball. Doesn't fly on you?
Yeah, it won't fly on as much as you. And, you know, we've been out here an hour and 20 minutes. That racket that she was probably playing with that whole time probably loosened up 3 pounds.
Advantage.
And when you get nervous, you feel a little more secure with the tighter, strong racket. You feel like you can swing out a little bit freer.
Break point. Both had 9, but a much better percentage for Sharapova. Missed it. So for our friends at home who are 4-0 and 3-5 players, Mary Jo, how often should they get a restring?
Whenever it breaks.
Whenever it breaks.
Honestly, I mean, with looser rackets, you get more power. You get a little more jump on the ball.
Hey, Cliffy, I think for your 3-5...
They wanted to challenge.
Just see if this is a challenge.
Myskina challenges the in-call on baseline.
On the line.
Call stands. Miss Myskina has 1 challenge remaining. Advantage Sharapova.
Both have 1 left. Break point. Squeal of delight from Sharapova as she prepares to serve for the match.
Sharapova leads 5 games to 3.
Sorry, Brad, you were going to say.
I was going to say, if you're a 3-5 player and you play 4 times a week, if you haven't broken a string, you should, 6 to 7 weeks, you should get a restring job. A lot of people go a year. That's too long.
But the looser you string, better on the
Thank
joints.
you.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Are you wanting to challenge it? Miss Myskina challenges the in-call far sideline. Just be careful, just be careful.
And she's correct.
Miss Myskina has 1 challenge remaining. Second serve.
So she maintains 1 challenge.
She was pretty adamant, you could tell.
Second serve here.
You could tell she knew that was clearly out.
That's too tough.
That's really well played by Sharapova.
What was Myskina saying to the chair on Brad? Could you hear?
She was just saying that ball was way out. And it was confirmed about, what, a quarter of an inch wide?
A little more than that.
Yeah, it was clearly out. I have to tell you, I watched a couple matches courtside, and it added a new dimension, being just a fan, wondering whether or not the players would challenge some of these close calls.
There's no doubt that this electronic line calling system has made it much more fun for the fans.
I was putting myself in their shoes, you know, what's the score? Is it, you know, deep in the set? That one was a clear mistake. It makes you think a little bit more out there. You're not just watching the ball go back and forth.
Pressure of serving for the match for A spot in the semifinals to take on Tatiana Golovin, and B, someone who is from your home country. That was the worst unforced error of the match for Myskina at that stage. Match point.
Sharapova 6-3, 6-3.
With all Mary Jo of the pressures that we talked about, it wasn't a well-played match, but it had some dynamics in there that were interesting, and as so often happens, you see Sharapova giving her wave to all four parts of this stadium. She hung on.
Well, it was a mental match for sure for both players, but I know that Sharapova feared this match because she's lost to Myskina so many times, and she came out a little bit more intense. And now she's the heavy favorite going into the semifinals against Tatiana Golovin.
Are we headed for Mauresmo-Sharapova final?
I think we are. I think those are the two favorites, and Mauresmo, I'm looking forward to her playing Kuznetsova because we're going to see the bounce in her step I've been talking about.
Brad Gilbert with our winner.
Maria, much cleaner match from you tonight.
Yeah, that was very important. That was the key. I knew she would be very patient, and you know, I just tried to be extra patient. I was making a lot of errors in my first three matches, and I knew that she would not overpower me. I knew that she'd just get a lot of balls back, and I just had to be a little patient, and I think the serve was also the key today.
You like playing at night because your next match is at night as well, tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. It's good to get a break. I think it's tough when you play night match and you get a day match, but I'm looking forward to, you know, keep improving and, you know, hope for the best.
You almost finally won your first challenge.
I know. It was very close. I'll keep trying. I mean, I look good at me. No, I'm joking. I don't know. I'll keep trying. I'll get one soon. I promise.
Good luck tomorrow night. Back to you, Cliffy.
Thank you, Brad. The winner, Sharapova, has not yet won a challenge, but she has beaten the challenge of Myskina relatively easily, 3-3. She's in the last four. We'll be back.